structure, roads, railways, bridges, airports, seaports, power plants, dams, and the list goes on. Nigerians know they know what has gone on in this country. So our work is to ensure that they understand what has been going on since 2015, making sure that they understand the progress we're making that this nation was not making before 2015. That's very, very important. And then furthermore, if we know that the deficits are deep, how far are we? To what extent are we succeeding in bringing us back or bridging those gaps or bridging those deficits? And I think that is where, when we talk about the 12 million who are benefiting from social investment programs, that's we still have a long way to go. We know that there are still 80 million Nigerians who are unemployed, for example. There's a lot of room still, a lot of success to still be achieved. So the challenges are much. But given the very difficult situation that we find ourselves in, a pandemic, 2 economic recessions over the last 6 years, a global pandemic, once in a century pandemic, consistently depressed oil prices ranging between $10 per barrel during the pandemic to an average of about $60 per barrel, as opposed to the $120 per barrel that previous administrations had seen. This administration has done more in terms of the provision of hard infrastructure, roads, railways, bridges, airports, seaports. If you want to be specific, you have the Lagos-Ibadan expressway that's going to be commissioned next year. We've been working on that now for 3 years. The second Niger Bridge will be completed next year. We've been working on that for 3 years. Look at the airport terminals across the nation. Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Terminal in Abuja. The Port Harcourt International Airport Terminal was done by this administration. By the end of this year, the Akanu Ibiam International Airport Terminal will be constructed in Enugu and commissioned. The Aminu Kano International Airport Terminal in Kano will be commissioned for use, constructed by this administration. And then, of course, the new International Airport Terminal at Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos will also be commissioned for use. All of these have been built under this administration, massive investments. And I haven't even touched 10% in terms of hard infrastructure of what we've done. So a lot has happened, but we still have very deep deficits that we have to tackle. The question is, given our economic constraints, are we tackling it? And the answer is yes. But I want to quickly go to the other issue of when we talk about gas production, very important as we move forward. But it's also important to get into gas distribution, because you can have all the gas in the world. If you're not transporting it to where it needs to get to for industrial purposes, then you're not really helping yourself. So what Mr. President does, because he understands that, is he's expanding the nation's stock of gas transportation infrastructure, gas pipelines, to the extent that over the last 6 years, he has very quietly invested billions of dollars in multiple very strategic gas pipelines. So, for example, the OB3 gas pipeline, moving gas from Obiafu to Obricom in Delta to Oben in Edo State, Rivers Delta to Edo, a major pipeline. He's essentially dualized it, doubled its capacity from 1.1 billion standard cubic feet per day transportation to 2.2 billion standard cubic feet per day. He has not stopped there. Then what he has also done is he has put in place the very critical Escravos to Lagos gas pipeline, the ELPS system, which has been in operation since 1989, right? 1.1 billion standard cubic feet per day. The president said, look, that is not enough. The West is very strategic for us in terms of not just our ports, but our industries, so many industries in Western Nigeria. We have to make sure, for the benefit of the entire economy, that we deal with that. So what he now did is he doubled the capacity, dualized the Escravos to Lagos gas pipeline system from 1.1 billion standard cubic feet per day movement to 2.2 billion standard cubic feet per day. And then very recently, Nigerians are aware that the president just flagged off the construction of the multi-billion-dollar Ajeokuta to Kaduna to Kano gas pipeline, which for the first time is now going to position us to industrialize the middle belt and the northern part of this country significantly with gas moving out of the Niger Delta. That's another 2.2 billion standard cubic feet per day gas pipeline. And what that does, in effect, is it now bridges the gaps of gas transportation to all parts of the country. And I think the point that does not get enough attention is the reason why the AKK is so important, aside from industrializing the middle belt in the north, in addition to all parts of the country, is that it's also going to be the root piece, the foundation piece, the base piece for what is going to be a very critical gas export artery that is going to run from Ajuiri to Kaduna to Kano, in through the Sahara, up to northern Africa, into Eastern Europe, which is very, very significant, because the president understands that the future of the Nigerian economy is the international export of Nigerian gas, not oil. Gas is what we have, 600 trillion cubic feet proven reserves of gas that we need to get out to the rest of the world. And unlike oil, gas is not going anywhere, because the gas industry is still powering the heat and warming in homes and industries across Europe and around the world.
So I'm glad you answered the question, because that was a part of one of my questions to you earlier, but you had to put that in here.
Yes.
So I understand the answers now. Well, it's Have Your Say on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and I have in the studio with me the Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Public Affairs, Mr. Ajuiri Ngelale. You can be a part of the program by calling 0807 622 6771. That's 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. 0705 149 3324. Let's get back to importation. We'll take a break and I'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Let's have some peace. Nigerians are peace-loving and hard-working people.
And countries only develop and grow when there is peace and stability.
There are different kinds of problems in every society, and so in every country.
If there are problems here, Nigeria is not an exception.
There is no society, no country where violence and public disorder has solved a problem.
No matter the problem, no matter the issue.
Let us sit down like brothers and sisters. Use dialogue to resolve the problems.
Remember, you have to give account of every action you take, if not here on earth, then before your creator.
Please let us work
together for a peaceful Nigeria.
Let us work together. Nigeria will be great. As the roar of a lion reverberates across the animal kingdom, so does the news in the network service of Radio Nigeria reach all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria and beyond. Radio Nigeria, the strength of a lion in every newscast.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Thank you for staying with us. It's Have Your Say on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and my guest is still here with me. And we're talking value, adding value to gas production. I was just talking to him about that. What value are we adding, and how many jobs are we talking about here when you mention gas?
Thank you very much. So gas is an area, when we talk about value additive services in the gas industry, you're looking at millions of jobs. This is not a small thing at all. It's a very labor intensive sector, in the sense that the value chains are tremendous. I want to get into this very carefully.
Yeah,
what we have, yes, we have put in place, President Muhammadu Buhari over the last 4 years has put in place a series of mechanisms to ensure that not only is the public sector, through the NNPC and through its NPDC subsidiary, constructing very critical integrated gas handling facilities. These are basically gas processing facilities, so it captures the gas in raw form, processes it into products like industrial grade propane, as well as liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, fuel that's used for cooking cylinders, that's used as an alternative even for fueling automobiles. That's really the future of where we're going in terms of gas, value additive gas services in the country. So the president just inaugurated a plant that he started constructing in 2017, which is a major plant in Oredo of Edo State, the Oredo integrated gas handling facility. In effect, what it does is, since it launched, it's fully completed and it's in operation as we speak. Since December 2020, it's actually currently representing about 40% of our domestic LPG requirement. It's satisfying 40% of our domestic LPG requirement. This is what we are no longer importing, which is very significant. While the president is directly building these facilities in the public sector, he's also incentivizing the establishment of these value additive gas processing facilities from the private sector by providing tax credits and other benefits to ensure that we stop the importation and create those jobs and wealth locally. Now, where do the jobs majorly come from when we talk about this? So we understand that right now in the country, think of the 200 million Nigerians who rely on these products for feeding, daily feeding, your cooking cylinders, etc. What we currently have is a situation that in our rural communities, our people are still using the energy mix in terms of cooking in the country right now is about 60% using firewood, 30% using kerosene, and about 5% using LPG, and about 5% using charcoal. That's the breakdown in rural Nigeria right now, and that's where you have the bulk of the population. So what we're doing is we're essentially creating the value chains in such a way that from these integrated gas handling facilities like the one we've just commissioned in Oredo, we're now going to be able to move the LPG en masse into new cooking cylinders, millions of cooking cylinders that we are working with the private sector to incentivize the private sector to fabricate in Nigeria, so that instead of kerosene and firewood and some of these environmentally adverse, means of cooking energy, we're going to be using LPG. So we want to deepen LPG penetration to 90% over the course of the next few years, and we're doing it not with words and propaganda, but with these actions.
Okay, so let's move on to exports promotion. Yes. And the fact that most of the time when we talk about importation and exports, a lot of people talk about rice production, and that seems to be one of the things that we always specify when we talk about production. It is believed that Nigeria imports more than she exports. Is this real? Is this reality on ground? Because a lot of the people say, well, we bring in these things and return the containers empty.
The real challenge isn't so much about importing more than we export as much as it's about what we are exporting. How diversified is it? Is it just oil? Because really where the wealth is created, the oil sector is one that is capital intensive, but it's not labor intensive. It's mostly a technological industry. So you don't have a much labor force that is involved. And the president said, look, we have to move into those sectors that are labor intensive, that create millions of jobs, right? That may not even be as capital intensive as the oil sector. Now, so what we've done in effect is, aside from moving into agriculture by providing with the Anchor Borrowers Program, providing zero to low interest capital to millions of farmers across the nation, by not just providing them low interest capital, but also providing them with seedlings so that they have the world's most advanced hybrid seedlings to ensure maximum productivity. Then we've also provided them with instrumentation. These are mechanical instruments that they use for the most optimistic farming kind of practices and outcomes. So we've done all of that in the agri sector. But aside from that, we recognize that we can't just be worried about exporting raw materials. We have to be concerned with value additive services and materials. So, for example, not just soybeans, but also vegetable oil. We need to be refining that locally and sending it abroad. So what we're doing is this. The president, under the NEPC, that's the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, we've put in place under the Economic Sustainability Plan, that's the 2.3 trillion naira economic stimulus that we put in place last year during COVID. Basically, we set aside a facility for the Export Expansion Facility Program, EEFP, under the NEPC. How it works is this. We are providing essentially grants to exporters across the nation. These are small businesses that are exporting their items to international destinations. We're giving them grants to be able to scale up their production so that they can scale up their exports, so that we can increase our market share in the destination countries of made in Nigeria exports to those destinations across the globe. That's one. Number two, we are building, as I speak to you, we're building domestic export warehouses. These domestic export warehouses, for the first time in our nation's history, are going to create one-stop shops, in effect, where we're going to have quality assurance and safety standards protocols streamlined into one facility where all of our exports across sectors and value chains and goods will be passing through, so that when these items get to Germany, I'll just use a practical example for people to understand. If you have Nigerian cotton and you have Brazilian cotton and both of them are going to Germany, we have to ensure that when the Nigerian cotton arrives in Germany, it is of the very best quality, so that over time we will penetrate the German market more so than the Brazilian cotton will. So these one-stop domestic export warehouses will ensure that we maintain a certain quality, and that we ensure that across the value, the items that we have circled as high priority export items, things like methanol, things like soybeans, cocoa, and many others, that these items that we're going to be exporting, petrochemicals that we export, are going to be of the highest world-class standards, so that we can increase our market share in these destination countries.
Well, you have said a lot about all of the things the administration is doing to better the lives of Nigerians, but we'll touch on some of those things later on in the course of having this conversation.
Sure.
Well, today's edition of Have Your Say brings you a surprise. And I have joining me here in the studio, Oledo Mbiwe, delectable, beautiful lady. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Princess.
Okay.
And good to have you here, Ajuiri.
Thank you very much.
We'll be digressing just a bit.
Just a bit.
I'll call it a positive disruption.
Yes, it is.
And that's because digress just a bit, because we're still talking about good governance, isn't it? Promoting good governance. Not talking about gas, we're talking about MSMEs this time around. Because the presidency is having an MSME award week, and they're celebrating the micro, small and medium enterprises. Okay. As you may have heard, the Vice President has been visiting some MSMEs, to assess the situation in the country as part of activities to mark this year's MSME Award Week. So on this program, for our dear listener, we have a quiz session. Okay, you'll be conducting that. Mm-hmm. 2 people are likely to win the big prize.
Oh, tell you that.
Yes.
100,000 naira.
Yes,
and that would
split
be
in
50,000 naira each.
Exactly.
But you have to answer certain questions that will be asked on the show today.
Okay, so winners will be announced at the end of the show and subsequently given the prizes. So the winner also gets an invite to attend the Fashion and Art Exhibition show at the State House Banquet Hall at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday. So, good luck, I'll say.
All right, you're listening to Have Your Say on the network service of Radio Nigeria. The numbers to call to be a part of this, the numbers are 0807 622 6771. That's 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. For SMS and WhatsApp messages, only 0705 864 2473. My guest is still here with me in the studio. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Back to you, and thank you for staying tuned with us here on the network service. Yes, the calls, keep them coming in 0705 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. Our first caller on the line. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. My name is Mba John Paul. I'm calling you from Ugogonike in Enugu State.
Mba John Paul.
Yes.
Good to have you.
Okay. You see, I appreciate most of the achievements Ngelale has mentioned. But what I want to talk particularly is on export. You know, export faces any country a lot of foreign currency. And when it comes to Nigeria, it's fetches Nigeria a lot of dollars or other currencies. But what I'm saying now is exporting goods. Has Nigeria become self-sufficient? Nigeria has not become self-sufficient, but what is driving this export of a thing is greed on the part of exporters. Why did I say this? For instance, the exporting of yam. Nigeria hasn't become self-sufficient when it comes to yam. There are a lot of people who go hungry without eating anything, but some businessmen go to the village and buy all the yam in order to make a lot of money by exportation. So what I'm saying is that it's not that we are not going to export, but we have to, take certain things into consideration before exporting. Things like yam are not supposed to be exported because most people go hungry, not seeing something to eat.
All right.
So we have to be concentrated when we do things.
Thank you, Mr. Umba. Thank you so much for calling. Well, you want to participate in our quiz session?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, ma'am. My name is Nasir Usman Rawaya from Gusau, Zamfara State.
Nasir, good to have you.
Thank you very much for that. I'm saying good morning to the SA, to the President on Public Affairs.
Good morning, my dear brother. Thank you for calling in.
It's my pleasure. Please, I wanted to commend the Muhammad Buhari government for showing deeply concern to us. I mean, we, the masses. In fact, I'm very grateful and delighted with this kindness. My question to you, special guest, is that for us to expand our oil production across Nigeria and abroad, please, when is northern Nigeria going to start producing our oil and gas? As a result of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari said that we realized that some part of northern Nigeria, there is oil and gas. So when shall we wait? For how long shall we wait to enjoy that oil and gas? That's my question. And lastly, my regards to Joy, Maka, and Harry Parkinson. Thank you very much. Nasir Usman Rawaya from Gusau, Zamfara State.
All right. You want to answer that question? Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much. So let me answer the first two. So Mr. Umba from Enugu, thank you very much also for calling in. The question was asked about some export-related matters as it relates to self-sufficiency. There's no doubt about the fact that you must be able to satisfy your local demand before you're thinking of exporting items. No two ways about that, which is why I took some time earlier on in the conversation to really focus in on the issues around import substitution, which this administration has done at a clip that no other administration, even administrations combined, can compare to. When you look at the fact that since 2015, so let all of us have proper perspective here. 2015, we were the largest importer of rice in Africa. Today, we are the largest producer of rice in Africa. That is just one.
About production. A lot of us also believe that yes, we're producing rice, but it's more expensive today.
That's just one. Well, of course, there's first of all a gap between when you are producing an item, you are importing, you're substituting an import, right? You have to ramp up production in such a way that you're satisfying your local demand. Now, in so doing, you are encouraging producers to produce, right? Now, because the demand is huge and it has been fully reliant on imports from Thailand and all of these different places, creating jobs in Thailand, creating zero jobs in Nigeria, even though Nigerians are spending their money to keep those jobs in Thailand alive at our own expense. What we're now doing is saying, look, we have to ramp up the production by encouraging our local producers, which we're doing, which is why we're able to substitute the imports. But when you do that, it's like a ratio. You're importing some, but you're importing less, right? So now, for example, if the ratio in 2015 was 100% importation of rice, 0% local production of rice, we have now gone to about 90% local production of rice, 10% importation, to offset whatever we are not producing locally. Now, when that happens, while we're building up our base of rice producers, right, and processors, the challenge, of course, is going to be price because the commodity is relatively scarce compared to what it would be when we have fully satisfied local demand and we have so much for export that we have enough producers to produce to such an extent that they're competing against each other and driving the cost down. The CBN governor just came out last week and told Nigerians openly that because of the major windfall harvest that we received in the rice sector, that they're going to see a crash in rice prices very, very soon. So that is that. But I want to address the larger question he asked, which was about self-sufficiency and export. Most of the products that we are producing, we have taken it from 0% production more or less to 100% importation. Most of them are now 70%, 60%, some cases 90% local production, 10% import, 20% import, 30% import. Now, the key is by 2023, many of these products, we would have gone to 100% local production, meaning that we're not importing those things anymore. So once you get to a full self-sufficiency, you're now in a position to do what? Export the excess. That's when you now are earning foreign exchange. The foreign reserves are growing very quickly, and you have a diversified export base. That's where we're going to. So I want to just encourage our brother that we are dealing with self-sufficiency before we get to massive export. But that does not stop us from planning the export moving forward.
All right, we'll have a call on the line. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for keeping me waiting.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Kechima to CEO Budu Farms Limited.
Thank you. We'll have a farmer on the line.
Yes, I'm calling from Akonye Penny Village in Obudu Cattle Ranch, Cross River State.
Welcome.
Yes, good morning, our studio guest.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, he has spoken well. And my question to him this morning, somehow Nigeria, we don't use our data correctly. And what do I mean by that? People who work, sometimes you will be sidelined, and others who were not even there will come on board. Why am I saying this? My company, Budu Farms Limited, was selected during the 2007 MSME clinics. We were in Abuja here at Ego Square to exhibit. And the more information were collected in order to create NISA Microfinance Bank, which has been created. And others have benefited from this government enough, but those of us who were in the system working, we have not seen the light of the day and make inquiries for those of us who were there. None of them has even assessed this Ajuiri loan that we were promised. At least we were supposed to be given a one hand, no barriers to get that loan. Now today, as I speak.
Hello. Okay, Mr. Matthew, you may have to call back. The numbers.
Good morning.
Okay, we have another call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, my sister. Good morning, our guest.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Comrade Martin Patrick Okoro Craft, calling from Blue Village, Atari in Aruchiku, Abia State. I wish to call on the federal government with all these laudable programs, the SME and micro programs we have. The government should try as much as possible, create room for soft loan for all these people so that when they acquire different skills, they will start on their own immediately. And government should also have a system whereby they monitor all these petitions so that people will not divert the money for another use. It will help us so that you give them, they also do what? Expand and employ other people and reduce the number of what? Unemployment in Nigeria. And today we have been talking about this empower. I want to find out for our guests. People have started operating for the past 6 months or 8 months. The empower is still on, hanging. When did the federal government start the empower? Because if you check very well, many youths apply for it. And I was thinking within 3 months they will start the job. Are they going to start the job next year or forever or now? Because the private.
All right, Mazio Korafo, thank you. Another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes. My name is Abdullahi Sharubutu, and I'm calling from Nasarawa State. This one.
Abdullahi. Abdullahi.
Sharubutu.
Okay.
Sharubutu. Yes. I greet your guest for his wonderful analysis. But you see, one thing that is not too good about this government is you see there is no proper education and no sensitization of Nigerians. And that's exactly why most Nigerians are getting a lot of things wrong with this administration. Secondly, I also look at the issue of improper coordination of these programs. Because let me take the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, for example, where a lot is being done, but yet there is no proper coordination. So what is the government going to do so that at least they can see how these programs can be properly coordinated for Nigerians to understand where are we want to be, and where are we going to get to in another 10 years. So some of all these ideas are good, and they are wonderful about this administration, but there is need for coordination, and there is need for these ministers or agencies to at least also drop their egos to see how they can put this program in a very wonderful legacy idea so that Nigerians can get to see that really there is a government going on. That's my contribution. Have a good and bye-bye for
Thank you. Another caller on the line. Hello, good morning to you.
Yes, hello, good morning. It's Adao calling from Jos.
Good
morning
have you.
to our guests there. I always enjoy Ajuiri. You know, he's an orator. You can remember me, Adao from Jos. You have spoken very well. The Buhari-led administration has made giant strides in infrastructure development. In fairness to him, let me just be sincere. But just because of the insecurity in the land and the hunger in the land, the achievement is being beclouded by these issues. But having said that, and I like the idea of, if you stress this idea of adding value to our raw materials, we just have to do that. Just this idea of exporting our materials in the raw state, it wouldn't help us. It wouldn't benefit at all from this African free trade or whatever when it's on. Then again, I want them to look at some of these interventions. Let them go back to the drawing board, like Empower. I know some people who were discharged from after 2 years. They were not given any package or whatever, and they are now back in the job market looking for jobs, and they can't even establish on their own because they couldn't save any money from that 30,000 naira stipend or whatever. So I suggest that let them engage them for 6 months, empower them, pay them maybe even if it's 500,000 naira grant, something soft loan, that would be better so they can be self-employed and also employ people. Then another thing again is oil. That's the oil that I don't know when we will start using the rail to convey petrol to other states. The explosions are becoming too many. Every day explosions becoming one too many. People are dying because of tanker explosions on the way. So I hope they can address that issue. We have died enough in.
Thank you. At that point noted, Ajuiri's writing. On our social media, we have feedback from Yahaya Wada. He said, "Good morning, crew. I think the present administration has given more priority to the plight of ordinary Nigerians, the various components of social investment program and testimonies to my assertion here. This is the first time I can say democracy is truly the government of the people since 1999 in Nigeria." Nasir Usman Sabongida from Gusau, Zamfara State says, "Hello and good morning. My question to our guest is about the price of food commodities that is continuously hiking. What else is federal government doing towards that? I believe you have answered this already." That's what he says. Another question here said, "Help me ask Mr. Ajuiri if those yet to be paid survival fund but were verified will still be paid." These are some of the questions on our social media platforms. The survival funds, some have been verified but have not been paid. Will they be paid? Should they be expecting payment?
Thank you very much. The expectation of those who have been their payment has been approved or verified, they should certainly expect their payment, to answer that question. Secondly, I think my friend Nasser was asking about oil production in northern Nigeria. Of course, it was under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari that we discovered a major oil well in Borno, which has been put in place. And the president has further directed further exploration activities in the Lake Chad Basin to even deepen what he has already achieved in northern Nigeria. This is something that really should have been done 30 years ago, but at least we have started now. Again, my friend Patrick called in and he was referring to N-Power. First and foremost, very important to understand that N-Power was always a 2-year initiative to give our young people skills and capital and technology, not just money, but also the technology required to be able to effectively start their own micro enterprise after they leave. And I think one of the most underreported aspects of Empower is that out of the initial 500,000 who benefited, over 120,000 beneficiaries successfully started their own MSMEs. That means they are not looking for a job from anybody. In fact, they're even employing other people, which is what the intention of that program was. So you still have about 380,000 who are requiring some sort of assistance, which we're happy to provide. So we're providing what we call the Empower Next program. So those who have not, who benefited from the 500,000 but have not started MSME, who still need assistance, we're going to give them grants to start the MSME, and then we're also directly employing 200,000 under the CBN to work as anti-money laundering agents. Basically, they will be calling various agencies associated with the fight against money laundering and all of that, almost like call centers, call center employees and all of that. So we have plans for those who are still hanging from the Empower. Now, in addition to that, this year we're putting in place 1 million new Empower slots for 1 million new beneficiaries across all local government areas of the Federation. So that is that. Then I think the last...
Ada talked about the movement of petroleum products across the country.
Yes.
When is this going to start? When are we starting with the rail system? Considering the fact that a lot of accidents happen on the road. And
yeah, of course. It was just, I think, last week or the week before that President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurated the Lagos to Ibadan high-speed rail line, which, of course, he has connected to Apapa Port. That's just one step. Already, in the last few years, we've already inaugurated the Ajuiri Etakpe Ajeokuta line, which is very, very significant. 321 kilometers high speed. The Western line, the Abuja Kaduna line, was put in place in 2017. We completed that project. So you have a series of developments in the rail sector, and we're not just worried about the new high-speed rail lines we're putting in place. It's also about refurbishing and putting into operation the old existing rail lines that we can be using, even though they're slower, for the movement of massive cargoes, particularly across the Eastern Rail Line. About 3 months ago, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Eastern Rail Line rehabilitation from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. So along that line, we're making a lot of progress.
All right, our MSME's bonus week package is here. The numbers to call 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. A few questions for you. Once you answer them correctly, you go home with 50,000 naira. We have 100,000 naira on the box, and of course, you will be attending the event tomorrow at the State House, Abuja. The numbers to call again 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. It's Have Your Say on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and my guest with me still here in the studio is the senior special assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on public affairs, Mr. Ajuiri Ngelale. We have a caller on the line. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Chief Jude Ubaja. I usually call from Imo State. And this morning I'm doing exactly so. Good morning, our guest.
Good morning.
Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. It is in this regard that I commend the Buhari NPC government in the country for doing what even most of our predecessors could not do in office. Especially
Mr. Yes, it's quiz time, strictly quiz time. We go straight, once the call is connected, we go straight to the questions and you answer them. And you could just go home with a gift of 50,000 naira if you get our questions directly. So we've moved on from the discussion on what is happening. It's a part of it. So MSME Week bonus package is what we're on right now. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Cyprian. From River State.
All right, Cyprian, you want to answer our question for today?
Okay.
Which state in Nigeria hosted the first MSMEs clinic, and what year was it?
That was in major when the Uncle Bodo's program was the Uncle Bodo's program was initiated in 2015.
The question was, which state hosted the first MSMEs clinic and what year was it? Our next caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If you do bad, if you are asking a question, I thought you are discussing on something just the total problem as it affects the Catholic.
Yes, this is we have a segment for this now, and we're talking strictly MSMEs Week and the package that we have for our people. MSME Week, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, it's quiz time. What's your name?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I'm calling from River State. I'm Rose.
Glory who?
Rose.
Rose. Rose Michael.
Oh, Rose Amadi.
Rose Amadi. You want to answer our question?
Yes.
Okay, so which state hosted the first MSMEs clinic and what year was it?
Which
state in Nigeria hosted the first MSMEs clinic and what year did it hold?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you another one. How many states have hosted the MSMEs clinic so far? No answer. All right, let's move on to the next. You can be a part of this by calling 0705 149 3324 and 0807 622 6771. MSME Week bonus package here. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This woman about it back once more.
All right, you want to answer our question, sir?
Let me come up with your question, please. Are we not talking of this?
Ooh. Okay. It's quiz time on the show today. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Nasir Gado from Zamfara State.
Mr. Nasir Gado, good to have you.
Yes.
You want to answer questions?
Yes.
So which state hosted the first MSMEs clinic and what year was it? Time is going. Time is going.
Hello, good morning, ma.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, ma. You are speaking with Nasser Hussein from all patches.
All right, Nasser, it's quiz time.
Thank you for our guest today, ma. Good morning, this program. Thank you for having me this program.
Thank you. Nasser, you want to answer my questions?
Yes, you are speaking very well. Actually, you are now in economic education in Nigeria like that.
Which state hosted the first MSMEs? Nasser is gone. We have a message on our WhatsApp platform. Mr. Mustafa from Abuja says, my name is Mustafa from Abuja. Good morning. And he said 27 states have hosted MSMEs clinic in Nigeria. 27 states. That's our second question. That answer is correct, but you need to answer our second question we asked. The first question was, which state hosted the first MSMEs clinic and what year was it? You didn't answer that question. Mustafa, you said okay, his name is Mustafa Sola Beru. You answered the first question. 27 states hosted the MSME clinic, have hosted the clinic so far in Nigeria. That's on WhatsApp. You will need to answer the second question. When and where was the first MSME awards held? If you do that for me, I'll be fine. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning once again.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
My name is Nasir Usman Rawaya from Gusauza First State.
All right, Nasir.
I heard that you are asking some questions that someone could be able to answer.
Yes, you have just 1 minute to do this. Which state hosted the first MSMEs clinic and what year was it?
Which state hosted the MSME clinic and what year ago? and bioresource speech and 2015.
No, that's a wrong answer. When and where was the first MSME award held? Do you have the answer to that question? Okay, he's gone. Okay, let's get back to the phone lines. 0807 622 6771. 0807 622 6771. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Muhammad Siraj and I'm calling from Zamfara State.
All right, Mohammed. You're the last on the list today. Which state hosted the first MSME clinic, and what year was it?
The first state that hosted the first MSME clinic was in Anambra State, and it was in 2017.
When and where was the first MSMEs Awards held?
Okay, that Anambra State. It was Anambra State, my sister.
Well, unfortunately, no, you didn't get the answer correct. That's not the answer. Well, that will be it for today with the calls. But I'll give you the answer to all of the questions. The states that hosted the first MSMEs clinic is Abia State, and that was held in 2017. Yes, one of WhatsApp messages, a message that we got from WhatsApp, Mr. Mustafa on WhatsApp got the answer of one of the questions correctly, and yeah, he will go home with 50,000 naira. So we have a winner for today, Mr. Mustafa. The question was, how many states have hosted the MSMEs clinic so far? He got the answer, 27 states. And when and where was the first MSME Awards held? It was in 2018, and it held here in the capital city, Abuja. Back to my guest on a final note. Your last words, Mr. Ajuiri Ngelale.
Thank you very
Briefly.
much. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you to all of our listeners. Ultimately, I would just ask our people to please be patient with us. We are working very hard to bridge decades-long deficits, and we need your patience and cooperation to take Nigeria where we all want it to go.
All right, so we have been speaking with the Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Public Affairs, Mr. Ajuiri Ngelale. Thank you all for being a part of the program. Thank you for your calls and contribution. That's it on this week's edition of the program, Have Your Say. Thanks to the production crew, news producers,